Are you having a bunch of negative thoughts and you don't know what to do about it? Well, if you want to put an end to your fear-based thinking, then you gotta stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another rousing episode of Spill the Tea Tuesday. My name is Flossie, and I'm like the funniest, wittiest mindset coach, as well as your OG Hype You Up Rampage Queen here on YouTube. If you are getting tired of not having your shiznits and you want to figure out what your holdup is, then go ahead and book some one-on-one coaching with me. Links are in the description box below. My clients, on the whole, tell me that I help them to figure out what they've been doing that's not working for them, whether it's people that are new to the law of assumption or even people that have been practicing it for quite a long time. You know, when you are in the middle of your stuff and you're in that 3D, sometimes you can't see past your own BS. And I consider myself like the bullshit eliminator. So if you want help with that, just click some links below. As you probably saw from the video that Nikki and I uploaded, we are offering a new service individually, of course. If you are wanting to have some coaching where it is one-on-one, all-inclusive, and totally exclusive, then you're going to want to click on some of the links below. Am offering a new coaching service that is pretty awesome, and it has like pretty much nearly daily texting with me, phone call every week, emergency call once a month. It is on a monthly basis. There's almost no spots. It's like literally 2 spots. I'm not taking more than that because I know that I will be texting pretty much every single day with the person that I am coaching. So if you want that level of coaching, then consider that option if you wish. Now, anyway, let's get to the video, or at least to my calendar anyway. In my calendar, this says, where's the motherfucking parade for your brilliance? You know what? You're the upper and power of your reality who can do have anything that you want. And if you want a parade, manifest having a parade because you can do that if you want. This says, let it fucking be. To the extent that you're not going to flog the dead horse at a 3D reality if it's not serving you, you don't have to poke Chewbacca with a stick, but you can affirm and persist for what you want. So not necessarily letting it be, but if the 3D be 3D, that doesn't mean you have to be doing the buy-in of it either. So this says, practice some fucking gratitude. You know, if you wish to have some gratitude for what you have manifested, you absolutely can. This says, gobble till you fucking wobble. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States, you can go ahead and do so. Otherwise, no worries. It is your reality. This says, so broke, I can't even pay fucking attention. You know what? That sounds like victim mentality here. And you know what? Doesn't have any place in our 3D reality. And this says, cue the damn Christmas music. You know, you're the upper power. You can do have anything you want. You can be celebrating Christmas all year long if you wish, or any holiday for that matter. So let's get to the main point of the video, which is putting an end to fear-based thinking. So, you know, we all have some negative thoughts from time to time about whatever it is that we're manifesting. That's because our mind has multiple aspects of itself. So, you know, your conscious mind, where you do your conscious thinking, where the person who's speaking right now, or the part of me that's speaking right now, is my conscious mind. I am speaking from my conscious mind. And that's also the part of you that chooses what thoughts you want to think in order to get your manifestation. It's the part of you that, I mean, I look at it as that's a part of you that has the free will to choose your thoughts, the free will to choose your thoughts and assumptions, and the part of you that knows about manifestation. Now, we have other aspects of ourselves, some of which, you know, it kind of has a role to protect us. I talk about, you know, the ego mind and Felicia. She's Felicia when she's agreeing with you, being your homie. She's Foolisha when she's acting a fool and not agreeing with you. Well, when you're manifesting and that part of your mind, the part of your mind that's set up to protect you, sees the 3D as hardcore fact, sees it as real, as not changeable, it thinks that when you're affirming and persisting for something that you don't have, that you know, you might be, you know, setting yourself up to be hurt or whatever. And so it goes in to try to protect you and to keep you in your comfort zone of where you are and where you're miserable. Well, you know, that to keep you comfortable generates a bunch of negative thoughts because it's reminding you constantly, you can't have it, you don't have it, you're not going to have it. And it has all these fear-based thinking. Well, think of that part of your mind like a monkey flinging shit up you. That irrelevant BS that it's bringing up in its way of protecting you, think of it literally as the monkey flinging poop at you. Because it's almost like the same thing. You know, it can be very frustrating when you are affirming and persisting and you're literally manifesting what you want. And then you have this part of your mind that just keeps throwing negative thought after negative thought after negative thought. And it's like, well, what am I going to do about it? Well, how about you disarm it? Do you remember in the movie Harry Potter, when Harry Potter had to impart of, I think it was Defense Against the Dark Art teacher, they had the Bogart, and the Bogart could become whatever that person feared. And the way to get the Bogart to, you know, overcome it, in order to overcome that entity that could turn into your fear, you had to see it as ridiculous. And they had this spell that I think almost sounded like the word ridiculous. And then it became something ridiculous, something hilarious, and it lost its power and it was no longer frightening. Well, you know, sometimes see these negative ass thoughts as the same way. If you look at them as ridiculous and absurd, they start to lose their power over you. If it's saying, you know, that 3D, if the 3D is showing you that you're not in contact with SP and you're affirming that you are, and your mind wants to be like, you're not in contact with SP, SP hates you. Look at that as ridiculous. It is just a part of your mind that's flinging poop at you to try to derail you. Be like, you know what? SP's madly in love with me, period. Look at it as, you know what? I know that this part of my mind is flinging up bullshit at me that's not even true as far as I'm concerned in my reality. If you start looking at that part of your mind and those thoughts as ridiculous and are like, you know what? These thoughts, they don't have any value or any weight to me. They are ridiculous. They are the part of my brain that's the monkey flinging the poop at me as if that is going to stop me from my manifestation journey. It's not. You want to put those thoughts here in the owl trash can where they belong. Start seeing that as, okay, this is my mind being ridiculous. This is my mind flinging the shit. Picture your mind being a monkey flinging poop at you. And doing all the and all the squawking and the screeching. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had a monkey noise because I'd insert it here. I probably have a cow that could move. But if you start seeing it as the ridiculousness that it is, it starts to lose its power. You can even just say, ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. Quit flinging shit at me, period. In your head. Call it the poop flinger if you wish. Or the monkey part of your mind. But you don't have to have a buy-in of it. That's the absolute bottom line. You don't have to choose to have a buy-in. There's things that you can do to reduce the anxiety and the fear-based thinking. The first thing is what I'm already telling you. See it as ridiculous. Sit down, shit flinger, monkey, Bogart. You can even call it that if you want. But if you start seeing it, again, start seeing it as ridiculous. You can also do things like the FU letter. You can write the FU letter towards those negative thoughts. That's very effective. I've got plenty of videos where I talk about doing the FU letter and command letter, which I guess I'll link one there so that you can review how you can do that for different situations. You can also just choose to tell the thought, no, stop. No, not having it, period. You can flip the thoughts to whatever it is that you want to experience. You can create a story around whatever that thought is telling you. If it's saying SP isn't calling you, you can be like, yeah, he or she is. Call me right now. You can revise on the spot. You can choose to reject the 3D reality. You don't have to accept whatever your mind is telling you. This part of your mind, the part of your mind that has a free will and that decides what you're going to think, can choose what thoughts you're going to have. You can do EFT tapping. I talk about EFT tapping plenty, I believe, in my video about anxiety and manifestation, which I'll link that here because that has a bunch of useful tips too about what you can do about like when you're having anxiety and manifesting. A lot of times that anxiety and the negative thoughts is just coming from all of your old programming that you've had. It's just your negative thoughts and assumptions that you've had, you know, wanting to bang on the door of your mind so that you can reaffirm them and stay where you are. If you just start looking at it as the ridiculous Bogart, that you're going to be like, nope, this is ridiculous. If you think of it as the monkey flinging poop, if you think of it as this is just my ego mind acting a fool and I'm not going to subscribe to it, these type of thoughts lose their power. Tools are awesome. Like I've just mentioned some tools, the EFT, the EFT tapping, the FU letter, command letter. You can do anything that you want as far as different tools if you need them. But a lot of times the thoughts lose their power if you just see them as the ridiculous BS that they are in the first place. If you just see it as ridiculous and be like, no, my mind's being ridiculous. This is pure ridiculousness. And don't give it the power. Don't give it, any of your mental energy. When you take its power away by taking your focus off of it and your mental energy away from it, and you choose not to entertain it, you're treating it like it's the petulant child. What do we do with children that aren't listening? A long time ago, I saw a child have a temper tantrum. I didn't think that really existed. I didn't think that existed in the real world. I thought that was something that was literally only on Bugs Bunny. But what you do is when a child is having a tantrum, which is what essentially your mind is doing when it's flinging the poop, aka all those fear-based thinking towards you, if you ignore it and you just decide to step over that BS and go along with whatever it is that you're doing, the petulant child who's having the tantrum stops the tantrum. Why? Because it's not getting what it wants. It's not getting the attention. And eventually it stops. If you stop feeding those thoughts in your mind by either ignoring them, seeing them as ridiculous, seeing them for what they are, the monkey flinging the poop, the Bogart, the Foolisha acting a fool, it starts to lose its power. And when it starts to lose its power, they creep up on you less and less. When you have a buy-in of those negative thoughts, the fear-based thinking, and you focus your attention onto the fear-based thoughts and thinking, guess what? You're just reaffirming you don't have what you want. You're just telling that part of your mind that it's won. Like the petulant child having the tantrum, if you give in to the child having the tantrum, guess what? It knows the tantrum works and it'll do it again. And it'll keep doing it. And then when you try to stop it from doing, guess what it's going to initially do? It's going to scream and kick louder in the hopes that you will give it what it wants. Your mind is kind of doing the same thing. That's why sometimes I have talked in videos about treating manifestation like a child, treating that part of your mind like a child. If if it says something that you disagree with, you gently guide it to what you want it to think. If it agrees with you, you give it some reinforcement, positive reinforcement by agreeing with it. If that part of your mind says SP's madly in love with you, of course he is. Yes, of course he's madly in love with me. You've agreed with it. If they're saying SP can't stand you, nope, that's not true. That's ridiculousness. You're being a monkey flinging shit. I'm going to ignore you. And then go along with what you want to do or use some tools, because using the tools also is like taking its power away. The FU letter, the command letter, the EFT tapping, any of those types of things. And don't forget the power of the ask formations. When you do ask formations, your mind sees it as differently. And so it kicks up less of the fear-based thinking. When you put your affirmations in a form of a question, it actually, your mind sees as what you're saying as being true, but not the same as it sees a statement. And so there's just a different reaction of the whole body-mind complex to when you form things as a question. And plus then I think that your mind bends over backwards to manifest it for you to prove itself as true. Because if you're saying, why is SP so madly in love with me? Your mind's like, oh, wow, SP's madly in love with her, but why are they so madly in love? And then guess what? It manifests things to prove to you that SP is madly in love with you. So, don't forget about that powerful tool. But at any rate, back to the topic at hand. When you're having a lot of negative fear-based thinking, it can feel frightening. It can feel very... a lot of people, that's what triggers them into having a spiral. And then they end up spiraling and sitting on the floor for the week. And the petulant child who's having its tantrum feels like it's won and it's gotten what it's wanted. It's keeping you in the comfort zone of your misery, because that is the 3D that's known. And that is the 3D that part of the mind is looking at as facts. If you literally look at it as what I've described, it's ridiculous. It's the monkey flinging the shit. It's being the Bogart. It is just pure fiction. It's Foolisha acting a fool. You don't give an F for Foolisha, then it starts to lose its power like the petulant child who's having the tantrum that you're ignoring. So treat it like that petulant child. Treat it like it's ridiculous. Stop giving it the power. Don't feed in to it or reaffirm that you don't have what you want. Don't have it act up and start to have more of a tantrum the next time. So if you're nipping the fear-based thinking in the bud straight away and you're like using whatever tactic that you need, even if it's a combination of different ones, in order to be like, nope, poop flinger, I'm not listening to you. Not listening to you, Felicia. Not listening to you, Bogart. Don't give a shit. You're all ridiculous. Your ridiculousness. Have your tantrum somewhere else. I'm not paying attention to it. It loses its power and it stops. And guess what? The fear-based thinking goes away. It goes away. So use the tools. Keep affirming and persisting. Use distraction. Keep going. Stay laser focused until you what? Just GYS, get your shit. So that's all I have to say. Put an end to your fear-based thinking. Start seeing it as ridiculous. Take its fucking power away. It doesn't need to have your power. You're the one with the power. As operant power, you're the one with the free will to choose the thoughts that you're going to have. Choose the thoughts that you want to have. And don't give in to that petulant child having the tantrum. So that's it. Drop your comments, questions, concerns below, because you know at the end of the day, I always try to check them out. And as usual, I'll talk to you later. Bye.